You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through Dark Web Finale number 1. They say number 1. Will there be a number 2? Well, actually, this whole thing was a number 2, so I guess we already have it all wrapped up into one. But it's finally here. The ending to the debacle that was the Dark Web event from Marvel Comics and Zeb Wells. And while I haven't been the biggest fan of Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man run, this so-called event has made me such a non-fan of his writing that I've actually forgotten about his Hellions X book now. Unlike Ben Reilly, though, at this point, I don't care if I ever get that memory back and would gladly give up every dark web memory now lodged in my pea-sized brain to boot. I say all this even though I did hold out a slim bit of hope that this finale would at least be good enough to stop the madness and let us move on with our lives. Did it? Well, we'll get into that right after I ask everyone to subscribe to the channel, like the video, enable the notifications, and please let me know what you thought of this Dark Web finale in the comments below. Here are the credits and recap. Dark Web finale number 1 is written by Zeb Wells, art by Adam Kubert and Francisco Martorino with Scott Hanna. Is Scott Hanna just with, like he's there together with Francisco Martorino, or is he just there as a third? I don't know. Colors by Frank Martin and Guru FX. Letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Here is the recap that drives me nuts by the end. This feels like they know everything up into this has been bullshit. And so what they're going to do is they're going to try to get you fired up. This is like the pregame speech. This is as we're heading out. Maybe it's like the 2-minute warning. You call a timeout. And now with the last bit on the line, you got to fire up the troops and get them going. Because by the end of this, it really feels like they're trying to do something. Spider-Man was able to escape limbo with the help of a bizarre demon spider fan named Wreck-Rap. Don't remember them actually escaping. I know they were staring at each other at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man number 18, that stupid cliffhanger. You know, staring all pissed off. Wreck-Rap, he's pretty happy because he's, dumb. But I don't remember them really escaping, but I guess they did. Miss Marvel escaped in her own badass fashion. Way to be really, ambiguous and shadowy there. The Gold Goblin, a.k.a. the reformed Norman Osborn, rose to the occasion but got beaten down by Chasm. Kind of means he didn't rise to the occasion. The X-Men tried something new with the Goblin Queen, Mercy. Jean Grey gave Madeline the memories she'd wanted for so long, but when Madeline tried to call the attack off, Chasm and his girlfriend Hallows Eve stole her monarchical soul Sith, making Chasm the king of limbo. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's also a lot of awesome. This is what I'm talking about. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Why are you telling me this? And that's not recap. Recap should be kind of like you're telling the news. You're not the news. You're telling the news. When you end up like, it'd be like, hey, this just in, the Dow down 40 points. Isn't that awesome? No, it's not. And then they say strap in because it gets even crazier from here on out. If crazier means crappier, then yeah, I agree. I agree with that. This is already starting to get out of hand, isn't it? You think this review is crazy? Wait till you see the awesomeness that comes up in the awesome. Oh my. The story opens up with Ben Reilly, Chasm, and Hallows Eve Janine living it up in New York City, like any new king of limbo and his girlfriend that turns into monsters via Halloween masks should. They want a parade, and who doesn't want that? You know who doesn't want that? Me, but also all the heroes that are pissed off at them right now. That's who. There is a lot of posturing and posing going on at the start, and this finale spends a lot of time gathering up all the characters from all those tie-ins that I wasted all my time reading. And they just show up to fight for the most part. The problem is, Zeb Wells and his writing crew of misfits never made me care about the overall story of Dark Web, but really never made me care about the characters in it at all. And you can tell how little some of these mattered when they show up in this finale. they show up in a way that's kind of presented like, oh, and here's this character, and this is what they did. So here we go. I like Norman Osborn, Gold Goblin, right? I'll put that out there. But what was his big role in all of this? They said it in the recap. He got beat up by Ben. That was his big role. Miss Marvel shows up just to be the punchline of another lame rec rap joke. She shows up to kind of start fighting, and Rec Rap goes, Miss, your arms, they're stretchy. All right, there we go. At least Jean Grey and Cyclops are here to call Madeline Pryor family. They do wonder where Alex has gotten off to, which made me laugh that was just thrown out there. But then later, he shows up for a panel, but it made me giggle. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the rest of the X-Men fight the Insidious Six that have little things in the recap. On the recap page, you end up having the cast of characters. And they spend more time with these little, bubbles, these little faces of the Insidious Six than they were actually done anything in this whole story, and especially in this issue. They don't do anything. They're just there to even up numbers and fight. And then you have some of, say, the X-Men Forge is there just to start yelling nonsense about all hey, I made this gun, this vine gun. It's just ridiculous. Now, what did I expect? This whole event has just been ridiculous. And so you end up having these fights going on, but they don't mean anything. And when they end, it's to just end it. In the X-Men versus the Insidious Six fight, they go on for a couple pages. And then what you could have done at the beginning, you do at the end. Hey there, magic, portal them away. Okay, boom. You could have done that from the start, but you didn't because you have to waste page space because nothing is happening in this issue. That happens another time, and it's ridiculous. But you also have characters like Bedlam, who are just there to fight. And we get that tiny bit with Alex Summers, which I laughed about. He shows up out of nowhere in his Goblin Prince getup. Hey there. It made me laugh just like Bedlam. I don't want to be like Bedlam, but if Bedlam's going to laugh at Goblin Princed up Alex Summers, I'm right there with him. As far as the main players, though, Spider-Man tries to take down Ben Reilly one last time, and he can't. He gets his ass handed to him again. That's about it for him in the main story. And, yeah, he shows up at the end to throw shade at Ben, but does nothing much in this issue. Madeline Pryor does step it up, though, a bit, but it's one of those, we have to end this event in this issue, so let's just do stuff to do stuff kind of things. Just like Magic ended up finally, after that fight, making the portals and get out the Insidious Six. All of a sudden, Madeline just shows up to announce she never really did need the Sith of Sorrows all this time, and gets all the demons of Limbo to bow before. This has been one of the big things to lead into this issue, was that Ben grabbed the Sith, and that made him the king of Limbo. In this, Madeline says, well, that was just ornamental. I didn't really need that, so I'm going to declare that I'm now, once again, the queen of Limbo, and, be gone, you, Ben Reilly. She walks up to him and then just takes the Sith out of his hands, says, oh my God, I can tell that you're hurting inside. I feel bad for you, but whoop, and grabs the Sith. And then at the end, when the rest of the heroes say, we're going to take Ben, he's going to go to jail, she says, no, I'll punish Ben myself in Limbo, and then just takes him off and puts him in a prison cell in Limbo. After Peter tells Madeline that he wants to keep an eye on Ben, though, Madeline comes up with this crazy plan that just might work. We go to the epilogue, and that does show a big new status quo coming out of the event. Now, most people thought that there'd be some big status quo for Ben Reilly. I mean, we started in that Beyond nonsense, go all the way to this, have this big dark web event. It's not Ben that really benefits from all this. Ben is in a jail cell in Limbo right now. What happens, though, and you better sit down when you hear this, we now have the sovereign nation of Limbo. Oh, my goodness. And Madeline Pryor says she's going to open up all the borders of Limbo for all the rejected ones starved of the light. Right when I wish I was there, I'm a rejected one, I'm starved of light, but I'm not thinking Limbo is the place I really want to be. Maybe Hawaii, I don't know, but I'm sure some people will want to hang out with her in Limbo. But things might be looking up for the Limboians. That's what I'm going to call them. If that's not the case, though, at least every New Yorker can look up to the big, stupid-looking, cartoony Limbo Embassy, now ruining the skyline of New York City, because that's what we end with. We end up with the sovereign nation of Limbo, with a giant, spooky house-looking, cartoony embassy rising up out of New York City, ruining that skyline. Oh, yeah, just to prove this event was complete nonsense, the last bit of dialogue is told by a sentient mailbox. Great. Thank you, Zeb Wells. Thank you for ruining another day of mine. Besides showing that this whole event was a worthless waste of time and money, this finale also felt disjointed, had a very odd pacing, was mostly filler. If you were looking for some Big Ben Riley moment, there wasn't much here. But hey, the nation of Limbo, whoop-de-doo. The art was good enough, but it couldn't and didn't save things, and I'm just glad this is all over. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10, and I'd probably give the whole event a 4 to a 4.5 out of 10 overall. But let me know what you thought of it all in the comments below, and let's just forget about all this and get the hell out, right? Let's get the hell out of here. We'll forget about this whole deal, but that's that. Thanks, everybody. And now we can keep going on with reviews that will not be anything to do with the dark web, which makes me happy. So I'll see you later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.